Retinol. 2 conversion steps instead of 3, already significantly more powerful. This is where the real story begins. Retinol has been studied since the 1970s, and the evidence is overwhelming. Fine lines, skin texture, dark spots, collagen production. It works. But here's what most people get wrong. They expect results in weeks. Retinol works on a 3 to 6 month timeline. Your skin is literally rebuilding itself at a cellular level. That takes time. And here's something most skincare experts won't tell you. Because retinol works more gradually than prescription retinoids, it can actually make you look better sooner. You're not walking around with a compromised skin barrier, constant peeling, and redness for the first 2 months. The stronger stuff builds collagen faster on paper. But if you can't show your face in public while using it, what's the point? Retinol lets you glow up quietly and gives you that healthy satin skin look already before your wrinkles start to fill up. Retinol can still be strong. Start at 0.025% and build up your way to 1%. Stick with it. Your skin will love you for it. Retinol. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different molecule in terms of how fast you see results. This one is the skincare community's open secret, and it's genuinely underrated. Retinol, or retinaldehyde, sits 1 step below prescription territory, but it behaves almost like it's already there. It's been shown to act 11 times faster than retinol at the same concentration. That's not a small difference. That's a completely different molecule in terms of how fast you see results. Retinol specifically has a few extra tricks up its sleeve. It's more stable and longer lasting than retinol, meaning the product in your bathroom actually stays effective for longer. And unlike Tretinoin, retinol still needs that one final conversion step. And that buffer is exactly why it's significantly less irritating, while still delivering near-prescription results. And then there's the antibacterial thing, which is actually fascinating. Retinol is a highly reactive molecule, and when it comes into contact with certain proteins in bacterial cell walls, it essentially disrupts them. It doesn't need to go through your skin's receptors to do this. It works directly on the bacteria itself. That's a completely separate mechanism from everything else it's doing for your aging concerns. Which means if you're dealing with acne or rosacea on top of wanting younger-looking skin, retinol is doing 2 very different jobs simultaneously. Retinol promotes healthy cell division, helping with growth, repair, and replacement at a cellular level. It stimulates collagen, which keeps your skin firm, and elastin, which keeps it springy. And on top of that, it blocks the enzymes that break those proteins down, building and protecting at the same time. One underrated tip: retinol pairs particularly well with glycolic acid, and the combination tends to give noticeably better results than either alone. It's generally well tolerated, but like all retinoids, build it up gradually. Don't let the fact that it's gentler than Tretinoin make you overconfident in week 1. Adapeline. Adapeline is technically not a traditional retinoid. It's synthetic, and it binds to retinoid receptors differently from the others. But here's where it gets interesting. A meta-analysis of 900 patients compared Adapaline's 0.1% gel directly to Tretinoin, 0.025% gel, and found equivalent efficacy in reducing total lesion count, with Adapeline being significantly better tolerated. Let that sink in. Nearly the same results. Less irritation. No prescription needed in most countries. It was originally developed purely for acne. The anti-aging angle came later, and honestly, it still doesn't get enough credit for it. Dermatologists widely use it off-label for photoaging, and the evidence supporting it keeps growing. What's remarkable is that it's the first FDA-approved over-the-counter topical retinoid, meaning you can walk into any pharmacy and get your hands on a genuine prescription-grade retinoid without ever seeing a doctor. Here's something most people don't know, though, and this is proper insider information. A lot of dermatologists quietly recommend Differin for body areas like elbows, knees, arms, and the backs of hands. The skin there is thinner and more reactive, but Adapaline's gentler profile makes it ideal for tackling aging skin beyond just your face. Most people never even think about that. Their dermatologist does. Tretinoin. Here's where it gets interesting and slightly dark. Tretinoin wasn't discovered because anyone was looking for an anti-aging ingredient. Patients using it to treat acne started reporting something completely unexpected. Their fine lines were disappearing, wrinkles were softening, their skin texture was transforming. The anti-aging discovery was essentially an accident. A landmark 1986 study formally documented Tretinoin's ability to reverse visible signs of photoaging. Not slow it down, reverse it. It's truly that remarkable. And here's what most people don't fully realize. It's the only topical retinoid that's already fully active retinoic acid the moment it touches your skin. No conversion steps at all, which is exactly why the first few weeks can feel brutal. Your skin isn't used to receiving that signal at full strength. Shiny, impaired skin, the peeling, the sensitivity, that's not damage. It's your skin getting the necessary impulse to regenerate collagen and elastin. Push through that adjustment period, and something remarkable starts to happen. Around the 3-month mark, the irritation settles. Around the 6-month mark, people start noticing, not in a "did you do something different" way, in a "you look incredible, what's your secret?" By 12 months of consistent use, the transformation can be genuinely dramatic. We're talking satin-smooth skin that catches light differently, pores that look smaller, fine lines that have visibly softened or disappeared, skin tone that's even in a way that no foundation can fake. The kind of skin that makes people guess your age and get it wrong by a decade. It comes closer to a miracle cure for skin aging than anything else science has ever put in a tube. That's not hype. That's 50 years of clinical evidence speaking. Here's something most skincare experts won't tell you, though. The people who push through and stay consistent for a year or more don't just look better. They look like a different version of themselves. Younger, yes, but also healthier, more rested, more vital. People comment, strangers notice. That's not a coincidence. That's Tretinoin, doing exactly what science has always said it would. Trifarotene. Most people have never heard of Trifarotene, and that's actually a shame, because the mechanism behind it is genuinely fascinating. Approved by the FDA in 2019, it works by selectively targeting specific retinoic acid receptors called RAR-beta and RAR-gamma. Here's why that matters. Older retinoids aren't picky about which receptors they activate. They hit everything. Trifarotene is a precision instrument. It goes exactly where it needs to go, which means less systemic absorption and a significantly better safety profile. It was originally developed for body acne, which is notoriously harder to treat than facial acne, and gets almost no attention in the skincare world. The anti-aging research is still catching up to it, but what's already there is promising. In terms of efficacy, Trifarotene sits in a similar territory to Tretinoin, but the experience of using it is noticeably different. The irritation profile is considerably milder, less peeling, less initial redness, a shorter and more manageable adjustment period. For people who tried Tretinoin and gave up because their skin simply couldn't handle it, Trifarotene is genuinely worth knowing about. You're not sacrificing much in terms of results, but you're giving your skin a significantly easier ride getting there. That said, it's newer, which means the long-term evidence base isn't as deep as Tretinoin's yet. Tretinoin has 50 years of data behind it. Trifarotene has a fraction of that. It's not a weakness exactly, more a gap that time will fill. Tazarotene, at the very top of the topical retinoid ladder. It's the strongest topical retinoid available. Here's where it gets interesting, though. For people who have plateaued on Tretinoin, Tazarotene can unlock a whole new level of results. If you've been on Tretinoin for years, seen incredible improvements, but feel like your skin has stopped responding, this is what dermatologists sometimes reach for next. Studies have actually shown it outperforms Tretinoin on certain measures of photoaging, particularly for deeper lines and more significant sun damage. For the right person, at the right moment in their retinoid journey, it can be the ingredient that takes already great skin and makes it exceptional. Here's what makes it different from Tretinoin. Tazarotene is actually completely inactive until it penetrates your skin. Only then does it convert into its active form and get to work. And unlike Tretinoin, which hits receptors broadly, Tazarotene is far more selective, targeting only the receptors that are most relevant. A smarter missile, not just a bigger one. For anti-aging, it's extremely effective, but the irritation potential is equally extreme. This is not a starting point. This is where you end up after years of building tolerance, ideally with a dermatologist in your corner. Worth knowing too, Tazarotene can be harder to get than Tretinoin. Fewer doctors prescribe it routinely, and in some countries it's significantly less available. You may need to specifically ask for it or seek out a dermatologist who knows their retinoids well. And most people will do absolutely fine stopping at Tretinoin, but for those who want to go all the way up the ladder, this is the top. Bakuchiol, special mention. This is not technically a retinoid, but the story behind it is more interesting than most people realize. Bakuchiol comes from a plant called babchi that's been used in Ayurvedic medicine for thousands of years. Here's the wild part. The skincare industry actually discovered it back in the 1970s, and then essentially ignored it for 40 years because there wasn't enough clinical data to back it up. It took until 2014 for research to find that Bakuchiol activates similar gene expression to retinol, meaning it triggers some of the same biological anti-aging pathways without actually being a retinoid at all. And here's something most Bakuchiol fans don't want to hear. The evidence is still nowhere near the level of real retinoids. Tretinoin has hundreds of high-quality clinical trials behind it dating back decades. Bakuchiol is promising, but it's not in the same league yet. That said, for people who genuinely can't tolerate retinoids, or who are pregnant or breastfeeding, Bakuchiol is not a compromise. It's a legitimate alternative that will actually move the needle on your skin. Just don't let anyone tell you it's a straight swap for Tretinoin. It isn't. Not yet. And that's every retinoid on the ladder. If you made it this far, You already know more about retinoids than most people who've been using them for years. Subscribe and give a like so you don't miss what's coming next, because we're just getting started. Let us know in the comment what you want to see next. There are a lot more skincare gems to uncover, and some of them are going to surprise you just as much as this one did. See you in the next one.